Networks don't talk about it. Government can't tax it. But sports betting is a $200 billion a year business.
That's a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country.
The Supreme Court is giving the green light for states to determine on their own whether they want to legalize sports gambling.
Tell Donahue his next pick is good for 20 grand, but I need him to guarantee a win, okay? I need a lock.
He's not that fucking good.
No, Tommy, he has to. All right, he has to, or else they're going to kill me. Do you realize this, Tommy? They're going to fucking kill me. I can't afford to gamble anymore. I need a fucking lock.
And a lock we will give him. We'll give you a lot of them. What's up, Lock Talk boys? Back at it again for NFL Week 15. Joseph, how are we today?
Okay, what's happening? How you feeling after last night?
Not great. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers falling to Joey's Giants in pretty embarrassing fashion. But, when you have a broadcast that is that obsessed with a quarterback, it's really it's hard to get it shoved in your face all game and then not expect something like that to happen at the end.
It's getting a little out of hand.
But yeah, no, it didn't hurt. I don't think the Packers that hurt their playoff percentage as much. Obviously, it helps, but we go Tampa, Carolina back to back these next 2 weeks, and you have to win both. But we'll talk about the Packers because we do have that Tampa Bay game coming up later. Housekeeping stuff, not a whole lot. Still got the competition going on in the app as we come down the stretch here. Also, keep an eye on the app. I will have all of my bowl game analysis as we fire up on Saturday. And we start with Maction, Joey. We get, I believe it's Ohio kicking us off. I have not gone into it yet. I made a decision that I won't look at any lines, won't look at any totals until 3 days before the first game, because as chaotic as the transfer portal was the last few years, Wisconsin just landed fucking Tanner Van Dyke. We've got the kid that was like on the Heisman list for most of the year at Miami, and I don't know. It's turned into quite the whirlwind because we had to actually have a visit, wine and dine him, and I'm sure give him quite the NIL package on the side. But that's good for my Badgers. Joey's alma mater is busy getting political in other ways, but we won't get into that in this show.
No, we're going to avoid that.
Avoid it.
Hopefully that's just being blown over, and there's
$40,000 speaking fee. By the way, I found that out today. Oh my God, what kind of robbery? Anyways, we got NFL Week 15. Joey, we get Thursday. We get 3 games on Saturday. And we get a pretty decent Sunday slate, and nobody's on buys. We're done with buys. Buys are done. So if you're coming down the stretch in fantasy, you don't have to worry about that. I am playing for last place in my high school league this week. If I would have made one roster move, if I would have flipped Aaron Jones and Jaden Reed, I lost by 20.1. Jaden Reed had 20.5, and Aaron Jones didn't play. So that is pretty much par for the course when it comes to fantasy with your boy. But you're a big fantasy guy. We don't really talk fantasy a whole lot.
We don't, but I am, and I have a first-round bye. So,
I got a first-round bye in one league, so I'll be kicking back.
Sucks to all the people who don't have a first-round bye. I ended the season on a high note. My league, we do a lot of props, a lot of high score, this or that. So a couple props I won.
Nice.
The highest total points scored in the league. Come on. With 1776, so that's
solid. PPR, I would imagine not at 1776.
Full point PPR.
Oh, full point PPR.
One quarterback. So
okay.
I picked up CJ Stroud mid-season. I changed my team name. He was my
Stroud
guy.
Boys?
Oh yeah.
Were you the Stroud Boys?
I certainly was. Trevor Lawrence rode the bench for the rest of the year. AJ Brown. Olave.
AJ Brown is awesome. Oh, wow. Look at that threesome.
Cleveland defense, Kansas City defense, swap between those two. Saquon, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall. I have a pretty good team. Knock on wood. Going to the playoffs. All goes well. We'll see. I also won the novelty prop of first player to get busted Chris Olave for going 70 to 30. So
he did get busted quick.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
he
him getting
scored it.
arrested made like $75. So yeah,
He caught another touchdown last
he
week.
had a
I
good
think he's
game.
up to
He
3.
had, what did he do?
Chris Olave
He didn't have a lot of yards. He had a
Not a
touchdown.
lot of yards, but he had a
red zone touchdown.
Dude, he's got 4 touchdowns. Like I've got over 5.5 with 2 units on it, and that shit is live with 5 games to go.
Yeah, 4 for 28 and a touchdown.
Yeah, but before that, 5 for 119, 7 for 114. The boy can play. There's no doubt.
And I think he got hurt that week or the week before. Like
he just got to have somebody throwing the ball, man. I don't know. It's a goofy deal. We'll talk more New Orleans.
We will talk. Yes, we will talk about that game.
Let's start in Vegas. Where else would we want to start? The Chargers are laying 3, or sorry, they're taking 3.5. They opened with them laying 3.5. I actually had the Chargers +2 was my line that I thought. So I kind of agree here. It's probably not a bet for me. I do think the total's low. I think 34 is a low total, and Thursday night overs have been hitting. Joey, what are your thoughts on this one? Total opened at 42.5, down to 34.
I'm seeing 34 as well. I like the under because it's still a sleepy night game. Herbert's out for season. That's huge. So they have, I don't even know who this guy is, who they're playing.
Isn't it Max Duggan?
No, it's Stick.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, Easton Stick. You're right. Washington.
So
Washington State,
they got Stick up against Aiden O'Connell and
AOC and
AFC
Stick.
West dogfight.
But the thing that I gotta ask, like, if you're a Chargers fan, things couldn't have gotten worse offensively. I mean, how much worse is Easton Stick for you than Justin Herbert was? Because I'll tell you what, the Chargers, you talk about a team that I get wrong every single year, and I've never been even more so wrong on them. This is fucking chaos, and obviously, like you said, Herbie's out for the year. It's probably an over and no bet for me. I don't love this. I mean, there's gonna be some props out. Oh, excuse me. There's gonna be some props out there, but man, when you don't know what you have with a quarterback, it's really, really hard to handicap a game. So I think that's pretty much all I got for Thursday. Is there anything that stands out to you that you want to touch on?
No, I think it's going to be a pretty ugly game in Vegas. I lean Vegas, but as you said, it's not the smartest thing to bet a game where there's a quarterback starting who you don't know much about. So
that's hard.
That might be a live bet.
Yeah. See how he goes through the first 2 drives. I mean, you could tell with the quarterback within 2.
But they don't like. So Staley is still their coach too, because maybe.
Yeah, that's a hard handicap too because he's an idiot. So
might be a Raiders money line or something.
I don't hate that actually.
Yeah.
I would say I'd go over or Raiders. I'm not betting anything right now. I'm just writing everything down pretty much that we say.
Yeah.
I've done betting early in the week. There was so much late injury news, late weather shit last week. It was very disappointing. CLV was not good. Let's talk Saturday. Saturday, we're going to get the good old 1, 4:30, 8:15.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
Threesome. Oh, fuck yeah. Like, there's no other way you could have set this up. If they would have botched this with, like, 2, 3 o'clock games, and they're not great games as standalones, let's be honest. It's the Vikings, Bengals, Steelers, Colts, Broncos, Lions. But the games do get probably progressively better. I mean, let's start with Minnesota. Minnesota in a very odd spot, still fighting for a playoff spot, played the lowest scoring indoor game in NFL history last week. I really thought that thing was going to go 0-0.
That would have been hilarious.
Didn't watch a whole lot of it. I have heard that it is not Josh Dobbs this week. It's going to be I am blanking. It is the kid out of
Mullins?
BYU. Oh no! Yeah, you're right. It's Mullins. It's not
because he came in. I heard. That was one of those games. I turned off Red Zone and I turned on the Chiefs Bills game on CBS just to not watch the Raiders game.
No, that's a good one. So the thing I got to ask you. So Cincinnati last week, Jake Browning. He looks like a guy that has an unbelievable amount of talent around him and is just playing the game. And they're not doing it with training wheels. You'll have like the training wheel week, and he just never got that. And he's been really impressive. You look at Cincinnati, 9-3 against the spread in their last 9. Total's gone over in 4 or 5. That's surprising, especially with the injury stuff. I don't know, man. It's, to me, I had this right on the nose. I had plus 3.5 in favor of Cincinnati as well. My total was 34. This thing's sitting at 39, kind of a higher total. But like I said, Cincy's been able to do stuff offensively. It's not, and the Cincy defense shutting out the Colts last week in the second half. I never saw that come. I didn't have that on my bingo card. But to me, this is a big old no bet. I don't see a side. I will have action. I can't see anything outside of a prop in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. 100%. My book actually took that line down, so I don't even know what it is now. But
boy, it's 3.5 right now. It is what it shows on OddsShark. It opened basically a pick'em.
Cincy minus 3.5, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Cincy's laying 3.5. I mean,
they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
and they're healthy outside of him too. So like Chase, I mean, Higgins, those guys are all looking pretty healthy, and they're fighting. So
yeah, I think, I mean, maybe you give me Cincinnati money line for super expensive. Maybe parlay that with Vegas, and you got something to bet on for 2 shitty games. I don't know. Let's move to the 4:30 your time matchup on Saturday. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. You talk about 2 teams that I do not know much as far as, where they're at mentally. Tomlin's kind of coaching for his job. I don't know exactly. I mean, if they finish with 9-10 wins, I don't think he loses his job because of how bad the rest of the AFC is. But I'll tell you what, the Gardner Minshew magic seems to be kind of falling out of bed.
Yeah, this I'm sure I'll bet it because, as you said, that's the standalone game for that time for the NFL on Saturday. I kind of lean Pittsburgh as a dog. I'm seeing plus 2.5, but besides that, yeah, not that pretty of a game.
Yeah, I look at Indy. They won and covered 4 straight. They were bound to dole out a stinker. I was telling you earlier, I teased them up last week, but obviously it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But 3 straight games for Indy has gone over. You look at their defense has given up 34, 28, and 20. But Pittsburgh, man, I don't know. This offense, you lose to New England and Arizona back to back.
Yeah,
I don't like
trusting Pittsburgh.
2 worst losses I've seen this year. I mean, Jesus.
I had my company holiday party Thursday, so I figured, let's put in minimal bets for the night.
Sure.
Not 5 to 10. How about like 1 to 2? So, and then, put my phone away and socialize. So, I figured Pat Steelers last Thursday under. I was so confident. Everyone in America was so confident.
So was I. We lost it in the first half.
I mean, what the fuck?
Lost it in the first half.
Anyway,
so weird.
That's a dud right now, but it could be interesting. I think the night game, Denver +5 at Detroit with a total of 47.5 is very interesting. I weirdly like what Denver is doing. Like, they weren't good to start the season. Obviously, they had a disaster of a season last year. But now they look good, and they're kind of fun to watch. So I don't know if you've been tuning in Red Zone or whatever, but
I had Denver last week. I took 3 on, I think, like Monday or Tuesday. I saw that line, and I'm like, you're giving Denver points against the Chargers? Okay.
And SoFi, right?
Yeah, took that immediately. Isaac and I talked about it last week. I mean, you got to play no home field advantage, and
Right.
I think the Chargers now have lost 5 of their last 6 in division. Something to keep an eye on as we go forward. But yeah, to me in this one, obviously, like you said, great game. Detroit, is it a must-win now? Probably not. If Green Bay would have won yesterday, obviously Detroit feels a lot of pressure. They probably, I now don't see a path. There's no way. They play Minnesota twice. There's no way they beat Minnesota beats them twice.
Right.
So I mean, at worst, he split with Minnesota, and I think you get the Cowboys.
Chicago almost beat them twice.
Chicago will do. Detroit right now. Denver getting 5 is all I'm looking at. All I care about is Denver plus 5 right now. I'm going to see how that line goes. It opened at 4.5, so there was some Detroit money, but this market's been pretty efficient, and I would say it's got to be Denver all day.
I like the Denver plus 5 now. I'm just thinking, and this is what I thought before.
It could get better. It could get a lot better.
Goff, I didn't see enough of this on Twitter before the game. Goff's stats outside are just not good, or in colder weather, I think. So he was going to Chicago. I like the Chicago plus 3. I teased them. Panthers fucked up that teaser. That's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
Goff going back home. They're coming off a loss. It's kind of a must-win. They're probably treating every game as a must-win. So I could see them covering the 5, but right now I'm leaning Denver.
Sure.
I kind of like the total too. Denver's kind of.
I was going to say, what is your thought on this total? Because
they're both scoring a lot.
I think it's a little high.
Even Denver too, and a lot of those Lions games are in that. I think I mentioned on the last podcast. The Lions, I feel like, have been hovering around that mid-40s total mark all season. I've seen a lot of 46s to 48, like that range. And Denver can score too. Like their offense is pretty good. They've been running well. Russ has been running well. Cortland Sutton's a Pro Bowl. He's having a Pro Bowl season.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the over now, but yet again, O'Kane, it's only Tuesday. So I'm sure shit will shift by Saturday, but not a horrible slate of games for Saturday. I mean, look,
could be so much worse. It's NFL, man.
We'll take what we can get. So
yeah, you look at, and for me, I look at the total in this thing at 47.5. Denver has gone under in 8 of their last 9, or 7 of their last 8. Total's gone under in 4 of their last 5 on the road. I think so. I had the Denver Houston under 2 weeks ago, and I think this is a similar thing. I think Detroit is an offense that, on the surface, a lot of people give a lot of credit to, but dude, Chicago just held them to 13. Green Bay held them up pretty damn good when they played them 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I mean, this team is not playing good football.
No,
so
and they're due for a bounce back, and
they really are. That's the only thing that's holding me back. The only thing holding me back right now is Detroit has all the bounce back potential in this spot. Like if you're talking spots, you're taking Detroit all day on that.
Yeah.
But to me, I hope it gets to 6. If it gets to 6, they would need a lot of money to come in on Detroit to get it to 6. I don't think Detroit's going to get that money because I don't think the market respects them right now. So plus 5 probably going to be a bet come Friday. We will see.
Yeah.
Let's talk Sunday. Sunday's going to be interesting. There's a lot of cross AFC, NFC matchups. We'll talk about a few of them. Not saying they're good matchups, but they're different. One matchup that I feel like I've watched a million times: Falcons Panthers. This is a interesting line to me. The Falcons laying 3 on the road at Carolina.
I don't get that.
I don't either. That line fucking reeks,
but
dude.
I don't think Atlanta, like all season long, if them as favorites, I don't think they've been a favorite of higher than 3 points. More than 3.
I can't imagine. I'm looking back actually right now at Atlanta.
So
Atlanta
that's why it kind of makes sense to me. They're
Atlanta
always
3.5
like a 2-point favorite or a 2-point dog.
Yeah, Atlanta has not really. every single game. 2, 2, 2, 1.5, 3.5, 2.5, 3, 1, 2.5. I mean, this team just plays spreads that are tight. They blew it last week. I actually watched the end of that Tampa
They
Bay
did.
game.
Tampa looked pretty good
Completely
too. We'll
blew
get
it.
to Tampa, but
God
Atlanta,
forbid Atlanta
I'm getting
wins
-3
3 in a
at
row.
-115 too. So we all know what that means.
Yeah, that thing's
Or
going to
we
get
should
outside
all
of
know
3
what
by
that
the time
means.
we get to Sunday. If you want 3, take 3. 3 to 3.5 isn't a huge swing to me. I look at Carolina. Carolina got embarrassed 28-6 last week against
they're
New
not
Orleans,
good.
which New Orleans isn't a good team. Have they played? They haven't played yet. So that'll be interesting. It'll be the first time that they see Bryce Young. I'm just looking at the injury. So Jake Matthews is questionable. Oh boy, Matt Collins questionable. Atlanta is looking like the walking wounded a little bit right now, but so is Carolina. So should be an interesting game. Yeah, you can't trust Carolina. I think if anything, this is an Atlanta money line bet. Actually,
I was going to say it might be a money line parlay. It might be a tease piece if you're one of the people who teases across 0. But I would throw their money line in with.
I'd pay that up to $1.75. I think even on the money line, I think I'd do a unit and a half. But we'll see how that shakes out. The market's still moving on that, as we both can see. Let's move down here. Next is one of those cross AFC NFC matchups: Chicago and Cleveland. Chicago 3-point dogs on the road. It looks like it's going to be actually 3.5. No, I'm reading that backwards. 2.5 is probably the the more fair assessment on this line. 37.5 as a total to me feels high. Joey, we talked about it before. Cleveland sent Joe Flacco to the practice squad, and he is eligible to be picked up by anyone, but probably won't happen. I can't bet this game until I know what the hell's going on at quarterback for them.
I thought it was announced he was their starter for the rest of the season.
So right, but so like I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the thing again. Like they have on the practice squad. The reason is they didn't want to cut a guy midweek. They might be looking to see if. Oh, here we go. Geez, Chicago's got one guy on the injury report. It's Equanimeous St. Brown. Everybody else is healthy. That's crazy. Okay, well, now Flacco says named starter. How weird. Okay.
Yeah, I was confused because I thought I saw when you told me that before the show that he was demoted or whatever. I was like, yo, I'm pretty sure.
Let me look at this.
I saw him. He was named starter for the rest of the season. Because he's playing well, too. I mean,
he's playing great. He 300 balled me last week and kind of ruined my. So, Joe Flacco is both the Browns starter and on the practice squad. What? I don't understand that.
Interesting.
Thank you, CBS. Let's see if this. So, Joe Flacco named the starter for the rest of the season. One problem with that promotion: Flacco actually needs to be on the Browns roster. He's on the Browns practice squad, meaning he's technically free to sign with any team this week. Browns will offer Flacco a contract, and there's little doubt he'll sign with him, but Flacco could take any phone call that comes his way. Okay. I still don't get why they did it. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the on the Bears and the Browns. I don't know. To me, this game, it's Browns. I think it's Browns lay 3. Chicago's flying fucking high right now. I think it's going to be 3. It's going to be 3.5, and I take it back because -3 is -124.
Yep.
So this thing's moving to 3.5. Chicago, you honestly snuck away with one. Detroit looked like they were going to come back in that game, and Detroit just kept shooting themselves in the foot over and over again.
Yeah.
But to me, this is.
I didn't look bad though. Chicago, Fields looked pretty good.
He did. They kept him upright, which that's with a young guy like Fields.
And is this Flacco magic going to run out? Who knows? Can be tricky.
It's hard to say, but
I like Cleveland now, and I like the under. I haven't looked at the weather or anything, but I don't know. 1 p.m. in Cleveland, I can see it.
I would be a little careful with that under. This incredible. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. Cleveland allows 10 points per game at home. They allow 30 per game on the road. So, because the last few games, Jacksonville, they gave up 27, LA 36, Denver 29, Baltimore 31. In 4 of the last 5 games, they've given up 27 or more points. But when they're at home, they are really, really good.
Yeah.
So that is something. To me, it's Browns in this scenario, but it's not anything I'm betting immediately. Joey, we're going to talk about our 2 teams next. Let's start with mine. We'll start with mine. The Tampa Bay Bucks are coming to town. Actually, we'll be going to this game. Very excited. It'll be a fun game to go to. We kind of held off on some mid-season games to see, like, hey, are we going to be competitive? Might as well hold on to these end-of-season tickets. We got tickets for this game and then the Bears last week of the season. Yeah, Joey, Pack did not look great. I don't know if we deserve to be laying 3.5 points right now. That's a lot. I won't obviously bet Tampa Bay. 41.5 for a total feels low. Green Bay's defense.
I don't hate that over.
I don't either. The only thing I just won't do is the weather is fine for now. And as we all know, Green Bay can change at any time.
Yeah. What is fine for Green Bay
40 and sunny.
No, that's not bad at all.
No, it's going to be about as nice of a Denver day as we could ask for, or Denver, as much of a December day as we can ask for. Interesting little statistic: Matt LaFleur has never lost a December home game. Actually, the Giants were the first time that they ever lost in December.
Damn right.
So that would be something interesting. I don't know. The Packers are in a weird spot. They're in a very weird spot. And being the NFC, as weird as it is, might still get into the playoffs. This is a team that you're going to be playing a wild card spot for, even though they're still technically playing for a division. To me, that's a no bet or over for right now. Let's talk about your boys. They are 6-point dogs with a 38-point total in New Orleans.
Love them. I was going to say but I love them as 6-point dogs right now. I like the 6 points a lot because you know me and my thoughts on Derek Carr. And I think he's a pain in the ass.
No, well, I mean, dude, your Giants have won 3 straight. I mean, you beat.
And the Giants are rolling. I think it's more of is DeVito the long-term guy? Who knows? But it's more of
you're riding the wave.
I think mentally they're there. They're fighting. They're still in the hunt. So
the guys, they want to – you have, unlike your – well, granted, that may have changed in what they did last weekend, but unlike your other New York team that's there, where the team may not be rallying behind a quarterback because of things he may or may not have said, the Giants seem to rally around DeVito. You got 3 straight wins as dogs. You're catching 6 again.
They're coming off an awesome Monday night win. I'm sorry, Jake, but I think they bring that energy into New Orleans in a dome. Saints are probably pretty good at home. I don't even know what their stats are there, but
yeah, they're 1-5 against the spread at home, man. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, they're a big under team too.
I think we're both
out of Carolina. Giants are a much better team than Carolina, so I would comfortably bet the Giants +6 right now.
Where did this open? I'm interested.
And Giants are pretty healthy. All the guys who played last night, that is.
So New Orleans is getting money. I mean, this thing opened at 4.5. It's moved 1.5. I just don't see New Orleans. I just see water finding its level after a big win for them last week. I think the Giants win was more legit, obviously.
I can't see the Saints beating the Giants by a lot. And this is coming from a guy whose name on this podcast was fade the Giants at all costs like a month or 2 ago.
Yeah. So, for a while there, it was bet.
No, they're riding high, man. They're coming off a good win too. They have 1 less day of rest, and they got to travel to New Orleans, which isn't that crazy. But I like it.
I like the +6. We'll see how that goes.
I like
that
the +6
to move out.
NFC South is just like Atlanta or Tampa would be the fun team in the playoffs. I don't think New Orleans.
You don't want New Orleans in the playoffs. Nobody wants to watch Derek Carr make the playoffs.
Atlanta's a fun team, even with Ritter. I like
unless Jameis becomes the full-time starter. Nobody
right.
wants to
Right.
see
I agree.
the Saints in that spot.
And then the Bucks are feisty, and they're like, they're kind of like the Bucks plus 3.5. We breezed over that game, but I kind of like them plus 3.5 in Lambeau.
It's not a. I said it, man. There's no reason they need to. The Packers haven't covered spreads really as favorites, so don't hate plus 3.5. Problem is how does Tampa travel? Because Tampa
Probably
on the road,
not
I was
well,
going to say they were
especially
1-4, 1-5, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But
worth looking
next
at.
game on Sunday, another 1:00 start. Houston. Oh God, I started the Houston talk last week with R.I.P. Tank Dell. Now it's shit. R.I.P. C.J. Stroud. This team is in a tough situation right now, Joey. I don't think I could be caught dead betting this team. C.J. Stroud is questionable at the moment, but even when he was healthy last week, he couldn't do anything against the Jets. Tennessee shocked me last night. They scored 14 points in 3 minutes and won that thing. I mean, I was looking over at that, and all I could think of is, oh wow, they're up 14. That thing closed at 13.5. Good for bettors. And I looked over again because we had our game going on, so I really wasn't paying attention to the other game. And I looked over because I had both TVs going, and I looked over again. I'm like, whoa, what? I didn't see Will Levis streaming down the sidelines. I was like, crazy. Are you serious right now? But dude, they're laying 2.5 at home. Houston, I think it's a no bet until we figure out what exactly is going on with Stroud. I figured that he's going to do anything he can to play. They're 7-6 and right in the thick of it. They're not going to. I mean, they could push Jacksonville. Houston really needed to win last week, especially with Jacksonville losing. Houston really needed to win. Jacksonville lost. I mean, you look at the AFC South. Jacksonville lost, Indianapolis lost, and Houston lost. So that and then Tennessee won. So it's like, so it was a very weird week for the AFC South, which is honestly looking just as bad as the NFC South right now. With who's playing quarterback. But to me, in this one, I have no opinion until the Stroud injury news comes public. But do you have any take on that game at all?
No. I mean, as a CJ Stroud fantasy owner, I don't think he plays this week, but again, we'll wait to see. They're getting 2.5 now. I also, Giants game ended. That was great. I went to bed. But on the Monday night broadcast for the Giants-Packers game in the top left corner or wherever, they had the –
oh, sure.
It was like last thing I saw was 27-13, I think it was, with under 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what happened until like midday today. So
it was. I
had no idea.
You were. I guarantee there were a lot of Packer fans that just shut it off. I saw right as our game ended. I saw the first touchdown to cut it to a 1-score game, and then I took the dog out, smoked a joint, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just watch the end of this. And pretty sick game, but we'll see how that.
At first, when everything was happening,
wasn't sure if my brain was really calculating what my eyes
Will
were
Levis
seeing.
Really this? Yeah,
he did it. But let's talk about the other team that ended up on the wrong side of that. Miami is hosting the Jets. I had this as Miami laying 6.5. It opened at 13.5, and we're sitting at 8.5. I mean, volatility is all over the place with this matchup right now. No one really knows how to price Miami following that loss.
Right.
Tyreek Hill is healthy, right?
I haven't seen any update on him. Did he go back in the game last night?
I think he did, yeah. I think he did. He's currently listed as questionable with an ankle. Teron Armstead, their tackle's questionable as well. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up going for them. To me, the Jets,
one thing. And they were at Hard Rock last night, right?
Yes, they were. And I thought there was no way they lose that game at home.
Right. I feel like they're a much better home team. I don't even know what the stats are, but I just – I don't know.
Because it's not, because it's not
Jets.
cold.
Jets are coming off a nice win. That was cute, but going to Miami, it's big spread. But if Miami's healthy, they should roll by like 10 plus.
I mean, you opened at 13.5, and that was, I'm sure, before the Monday night debacle. So
Yeah.
Vegas had them as a blowout. I mean, this was all set up to be a blowout. You're still at 8.5, kind of teetering on blowout. Anything outside of a touchdown, my brain kind of goes to blowout. But
Low total for the Dolphins game, too, at 38.5.
Well, I mean, shoot, you look at what New York did. They suffocated Houston last week.
Yeah.
But you also gotta hope that
it was also very shitty out.
It was. That was it was out of all the weather games that actually didn't end up being that bad, like Detroit and Chicago looked like a pretty solid day. That game was horrible. That was you guys had some rough weather up in the Northeast this weekend.
Yeah.
I think you
not even that cold. That day was just piss and rain. So
just piss and rain. Well, and then this
doesn't like the rain. Know that for the future.
Are you gonna get Zach Wilson 2 good performances in a row? That feels like we're asking a lot.
That's a
big time ask. I mean, this is a shit, dude. If the Jets even keep it within the number, I think they could win.
Oh yeah,
it's a weird deal.
Miami clearly is very vulnerable. I mean, look what happened.
100%
last night.
Well, and the thing with Miami is throughout the season they beat the bad teams. They never really had a chance to
the Dallas
beat
Cowboys,
the good teams. Yeah, and like their losses: Buffalo, Philly, KC, and then Tennessee. So Miami's in a weird spot, and obviously once Tyreek Hill left that game, that offense changes.
Oh yeah, they're nothing
completely changes, and Tua's not going to go out and win you games with his arm. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. As much as I do love Tua, and would be happy to have him for my quarterback, he's just not that guy, unfortunately. But yeah, we can move on from that one. We got one more 1:00 game, a game that like 3 years ago might have. No, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago might have been interesting. Kansas City, New England, laying 9. The Chiefs, New England coming off a win, 37-point total. I think under. That's the first thing I think of. Kansas City's offense does not look good. Their defense looks pretty decent. Their defense kept them in that game against Buffalo. Otherwise, Buffalo would have really opened that up. New England, you get your win for better or for worse, I guess. You don't really want to win that game if you're New England, but yeah, interesting line. I don't know. Kansas City's a weird team right now, man.
Kansas City's a weird team. I think coming off that loss, though.
Right, emotions are going to be riding high. This is a thumping spot. Like
a pissed off Mahomes, it seems very dangerous.
Yeah.
Whether it was the ref's fault or not, and they're going into New England. New England's probably the worst team in the league this year, right? We can say that with confidence.
I've got them third worst, actually. I got the Cardinals and the Panthers behind them in my.
Yeah, fair enough. So they're a bottom
right
three
there.
team.
Yeah,
they're not fighting for much. Yeah, I don't hate the Chiefs this Sunday, but
I think the Chiefs are a big time tease piece down to -3.
If they get Pacheco back too, I think they were missing a little bit of a run game against Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean Clyde Edwards-Helaire is okay. I mean Pacheco just gives you an extra.
Yeah,
he's just one more guy you got to worry about. He's questionable still, and being a shoulder, I'm not super concerned with him if he plays. Patriots though, Devontae Parker might not play. Ramondre might not play. Got Keyshawn Bout, Demario Douglas, dude. They're fucking wide receiver. They got 3 wide receivers currently questionable and another one on the IR. So I don't know who Bailey Zappi is going to throw the football to, although he did throw the football pretty well last week. I will give him credit against what I thought was a stout Pittsburgh defense. But yeah, I think Beebe and the boys are going to back up the bus, I'm sure, and take the Patriots team total. That's been a Honda Civic Nuke Max for those guys. Shout
Yeah, I
out.
just looked it up and I don't have anything yet. I'm not seeing anything, but
Yeah, you can
I think for
imply
this one,
it. So,
Kansas City's defense has to show up. They got to win them this one.
yeah, I agree.
Got to win it and they got to cover it. So I think Kansas
100%
City comes
agree.
out. It might be pretty low scoring, but give me like a 20-49 game.
Yeah, it feels very 24-9. And weather in New England could be a little dicey. I don't know what the weather looks like. Let's move 4:00. So, I guess never mind. I completely are not even thinking about the fact that we have 3 games on Saturday. I'm like, why do we only have 3 4:00 games with a full slate? But first one, Washington and the Rams. Joey, I love the Rams laying 6.5 in this spot. I think they are hungry. I think they are possibly the 4th best team in the NFC right now. I think they could jump Detroit if you're really talking about that. I've got them really just behind. Yeah, I guess I got the Lions a little bit higher right now, but you could definitely make the argument they looked really good last week.
Yeah, I think fully healthy Stafford, Kyron Williams, Kupp. Can't count them out of any game. Washington is coming off a bye, but I agree with you. I think the Rams look really good. And look, San Francisco, they clinched. Seattle's kind of messy right now, but they're still going to be fighting. They don't need to worry about Arizona, but this is a pretty good Rams team. So they know how good San Francisco is. They need to win. I like them a lot. I'm with you there. And Washington's kind of just falling apart too. So I'm with you. I like the 6.5. SoFi, not a big home field advantage, but tough travel.
49.5 is a big total.
East to West Coast travel, Stafford, all those guys at home, they're comfortable with everything. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't want to let that thing get outside.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I like it right now.
It's like shit. Maybe I just bet it right now, or have we? Where did we open up at? Oh man, the Rams have taken a lot of money. Ooh,
could be a money line parlay piece.
Could be 285. You're under 300. You pair that with pretty much anything, and you're looking pretty solid. We're gonna keep it in the NFC West with an NFC West matchup. San Francisco, and I handicapped this shit on the fucking nose, man. I was like, this smells like 13.5. I couldn't picture them getting a 14, laying 14.5 or laying 14 plus in an NFL game on the road. So yes, 13.5 ends up being our number. Opened actually at 12.5. Looks like in some books. So congrats if you laid 12.5. San Francisco, best team in football. I don't think this may be don't even think about it. Just bet it. Arizona coming off the bye, had a win against Pittsburgh. This might be a San Francisco 13.5. I just don't watch the game.
Yeah. This one for me might be an afternoon teaser. Tease the Rams down. Tease the Dallas Buffalo too. Like maybe it'll.
Yeah. Keep talking.
Tease the Niners and Rams down. That's
you could bring the Chiefs down to 3 too.
I can see myself teasing the 2 NFC West teams down, doing a nice NFC West teaser. I can see myself doing that on my couch at like 4 p.m. come Sunday. So yeah, not going to put much thought into the 13.5. Niners did clinch, but I think they probably still want to clinch the buys and all that shit. Is
I mean, the NFC is still the buy is very much up for grabs with how well we'll talk about them in a second. But I mean, with how good the Cowboys have played.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're San Fran, you can't take any weeks off. So we'll see how that one goes. Just looking to see if there's any trends worth looking. So they're 4-2 against the spread against Arizona in their last 6. 9-3 straight up in their last 12 on the road. So I mean, it's not like they're incredible on the road. I'm sure they're much better at home because I know that 9-3 in the last 12 is not really indicative of what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona's in a bad spot. Arizona needs to lose some games, make sure they secure a draft pick. I think Arizona's got to go Marvin Harrison Jr. if
I
they
think so
can.
too.
I think you roll the dice with Kyler. There's just enough there where if you get him a Marvin Harrison type,
Right.
you've already got guys that
can
you got guys that can fill into that 2-3 spot at receiver. Right now, it's just the mighty mites. And I didn't know Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'4", like 220. He is a fucking specimen. And
he's top 5 secured, and if he goes number 1 overall,
I wouldn't bat an eye. I wouldn't bat an eye at all. It's going to
be almost
be
30 years.
I know he's one of those guys at receiver. Granted, I hear this kid at LSU is just as good. He won
Neighbors, right?
Yeah, he won the not Maxwell. Maxwell's quarterback. Whatever Biletnikoff.
Oh,
He
yeah.
won the Biletnikoff this year.
Yeah.
And shit, man, we're gonna have another really good receiver class, which we're gonna have good receiver classes every single year. That's just the way the game is now.
Yeah.
There's no. It's a really fun deal. So if you need
Dunsey?
receivers, you got it. Let's move along outside of this one to probably the game of the day. I don't think there's really any. Come on, computer.
Cowboys,
really
Bills,
90% of this.
Jags.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument for Ravens Jags if Lawrence is healthy.
Right.
The way that line looks, I think he's actually pretty healthy. But we'll talk about that one in a second. Let's talk Dallas Buffalo. They'll be America's game of the week. So right now, Buffalo laying 2.5, open 1.5. Joey, are you surprised by this line?
I like Buffalo. I'm not surprised. I think this is a Buffalo. The 2.5 I don't love. I love Buffalo money line at. I'm seeing minus 132. I would eat that and take that. I think Dallas is due for regression, them going on the road into Buffalo afternoon. Buffalo also, they don't have the greatest record. They need to stack up some wins, and they're coming off a good win.
Well, Miami coming off a loss. I mean,
they go back home.
The East is not dead for them.
Yeah. They go back home. They get Bills Mafia going. I haven't looked at the weather, but Dak on the road. Cowboys on the road, really. They're a great home team. Them going up to Buffalo, I love Buffalo. Love them. The more I think about it, love Buffalo in this spot.
Yeah, like you said, Dak 7-0 at home this year, 3-3 on the road.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how this goes. But I think you're right. I don't think this is a lay 2.5. I think it's
I'm seeing a minus 132 money line. So
yeah, well, and if you get on the peer-to-peers, you're going to be probably pushing 125 right now.
Peer-to-peers, you might get a really good price.
Yeah, you may be able to monkey that around to be pretty decent. So, yeah, I like Buffalo in this spot. Just Dallas has been flying really high, 5 straight wins.
Yeah, they're due for a loss.
Well, and these are two teams that are winning despite having not great coaches, in my opinion. Not a big Mike McCarthy guy, and I think McDermott is holding Buffalo back. Wonder why. So, yeah, I think we're both on the page. 51, what do you think of 51? That's a lot of points, but, man, these are two flying high.
It's kind of high.
It's very high. It's highest total of the weekend.
I kind of like the under right now, but I don't want to think too much into it. I love Buffalo money line.
Sure.
Love them.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Sunday night, Baltimore, Jacksonville. Jacksonville let me down last week. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence should have not played.
Yeah, he wasn't 100%, so that's why I liked
it. It didn't look like he was there. And it's funny, I bet I took and teased Jacksonville up to +9 because I thought it was Beathard. I was totally fine with Beathard.
That game was forever.
That
game might have went to that game probably ended around 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah,
that was a long ass game.
It was a long game.
Shout out to Jacksonville, man. They were crawling back.
And what sucked for me is I told you I had to spend that whole long game And the fourth quarter, waiting for Travis Etienne to get a carry that he never got. Never got a carry in the fourth quarter, and we get hooked. All right, let's talk this week. Baltimore laying 3.5. Joey at home for Jacksonville. Does Baltimore? This feels like a game that Jacksonville could win outright. No.
Yeah. Yeah, it all depends on Lawrence being 100%.
They just got to get healthy.
Kirk did go to the IR. Like that's definitely big for them. But at the same time, they're having guys like Evan Engram really step up, and I mean like really step up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would take the Jacksonville plus 3.5, but I feel like maybe that'll move.
We got 8 guys that play that are questionable for Sunday for Jacksonville. They are that's gonna be really tough. And Kyle Hamilton also questionable for Baltimore.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, this is a wait and see for me. This is gonna be Sunday night. I'm gonna get home from the Packer game probably about 6 my time, 7 your time. And depending on how my day is going, I may or may not bet this game. We'll see.
You're gonna let the Bullet Bourbon bet this game.
Yeah. We actually got.
Seems like it'll be a good primetime game. So
I'm cheating on Bullet actually.
What do you got?
I've got Tullamore Dew, some Irish whiskey, some Woodford Reserve.
Woodford's
and then last night I ended up killing a bottle of not a whole bottle last night. That makes me sound terrible. This probably is a horrible optic. And then I have Angel's Envy, one of the coolest bottles. It's got.
Yes.
I don't think you can see.
I was gifted a bottle of that about 2 years ago. It was very enjoyable.
Dude, butterscotch aftertaste. Oh,
I saw a former guest, Dan Koob, is now doing bourbon reviews. I just saw that on Twitter before, so shout out to him. We might have to.
I gotta tune into those.
Talk football and bourbon.
Fuck yeah, I gotta tune into those. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
What do we got Monday night?
Monday night we have another what should be good game. Philly going into the 12s in Seattle. Seattle plus 3.5. Total is 47.5. Eagles have not looked that good, but I think this is a bounce back spot for them.
I had Philly laying 4.5.
Where it all depends on if quarterback's playing or not. Geno Smith obviously didn't play on Sunday. So if he didn't play, that's difference maker. So I have no read right now. What do you think?
This is some wild trends here. And obviously these are let me preface this by saying I don't swear by either of these trends, but Philly is 0-7 straight up and 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games against Seattle. So whatever it is,
Seattle's never easy to play.
Yeah, well,
that is
gone under in 5 of the last 7 against Seattle. They play tough games. They do. Philly 1-5 against the spread. Their last 5 games played in December. Philly not good at covering the spread late in the season. That's an interesting one to look at. I'm excited for this game. This is actually going to be a good Monday night game.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Geno's going to play. I would imagine with a long. I mean, he's going to be 15 days of rehabbing for a groin in a playoff. In a playoff run. So I would expect to see Geno. Philly coming off 2 just ass kickings. And I don't know if things get better for Philly. I really don't. I think Jalen Hurts is kind of hit the, we may not quite have what we think we have in Jalen Hurts. He's not the passing quarterback outside of 287 against San Fran, which was a lot of garbage time. 218 against Dallas passing, 193 against Buffalo. A disgusting 124 in their win over Kansas City, 183 against Dallas. Like during this tough stretch, Jalen's just not throwing the football well. Right. The offense that I thought Philly was going to be great, and we talked about, we both have A.J. Brown in our fantasy leagues. And I thought with A.J. Brown, with Smith, with really 3 capable running backs, and obviously Hurts, and a good O-line. And this O-line, which has completely collapsed. I don't know what the hell is going on. They're doing stupid penalties. Yeah, Philly is just really falling off. And I thought there was a stretch there. They won 5 games, Joey. They won 5 games. It was Miami, Washington, Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo. And then you come out the last 2 weeks, get held under 20, and have teams hang 42 and 33 on you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough. And they stay on the road. This is brutal. Like,
They're an excellent home team.
Yeah, great team at home. They're very similar to Dallas.
San Francisco kicked the shit out of them in Philly. That was crazy. But them going to Seattle, never an easy place to play. It's going to come down if Geno plays or not, but I don't hate the Seattle plus 3.5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Right now, I would say this is Seattle or no bet.
Yeah.
And I would imagine if Locke gets announced as starter, this thing goes to what, Philly?
Drew Lock talk?
5? Yeah, Drew Lock talk. Philly 5 if Locke's announced starter, you think? Right now it's 3.5 minus 13. Dude, we gotta get Drew Lock talk on the pod.
We gotta get Drew Lock on the pod.
Could you imagine? There's no way that NFL players would be allowed to get on a gambling pod. Isn't that why Will Compton couldn't get signed? Because he had gambling affiliations? That's very funny.
Probably. All right, man. Good NFL slate coming up. And it's a little spread out, which I like. We all like. Because we didn't talk about college football. There's some games on Saturday.
Yeah, let me just shout out what the slate is for Saturday, just so we at least
shout it out.
Touch on it, because I did want to confirm that's college basketball. Which college basketball, I haven't been betting as much lately.
I have been.
I need to get back into that.
It's a lot of fun.
I've been watching games, just not betting them as much. Yes. So Georgia Southern at Ohio. Georgia Southern and Ohio are going to kick us off at 10 a.m. my time on Saturday. That's going to be a little breakfast ball for us. And then we also get Jacksonville State against the Raging Cajuns, Miami of Ohio, some more action against App State. That's actually a cool matchup. But Miami, Ohio's quarterback's gone. It's bowl season's not what it used to be. There's so many backup quarterbacks that are going to be playing, and so many teams that the good players don't get showcased anymore.
I texted you before we recorded. I was like, let's just stick to NFL tonight, because this Saturday I don't care about any of these college games. Unfortunately,
fucking depressed.
Yeah, they got to figure some shit out. But anyway,
that'll be it for us, man. Kept it right at an hour.
Do you not have your favorite dog total?
Shoot, yes I do.
I was going to say.
Oh my goodness, you start us off with a favorite, brother.
Atlanta Falcons -3.
Ooh.
This isn't I trust the Falcons. This is more of a fade, Carolina fade. I do think the Falcons, we were looking at their spreads before. Most of their spreads are very close, and this one may move. They're at -3 right now. They are playing in Carolina. I just don't think Carolina's eliminated. I don't think they're good at all. I think Atlanta, they're fighting for a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. They're fighting for their division. I like the Dirty Birds in Charlotte this weekend. Give me the Falcons -3. They figure their shit out. Desmond Ridder figures his shit out.
I like it. I'm going with the Rams. I like the Rams this week, laying 6.5 against the Commies.
Yeah,
big fan of how that one's looking. I want to get it at 6.5. I'm going to become a lot less likely to bet it if it gets outside 7. So probably when we get off here, I'm going to be logging into my book at that. I'll hit us with a dog. Interested to see if we have the same dog. I don't know if we do. Denver +5.
Okay.
I like Denver +5.
We don't have the same dog. I like that a lot, as we talked about before. I think that should just be a really good game. Don't want to scare you. There's part of me that thinks Detroit rolls them at home, but I just think Denver has their shit.
It's not out of the realm, but
I think Denver has their shit together. I think They're healthy and they're playing well, even after trading guys away on their defense and stuff. Like I like that. I like the 5 too. So Detroit could win on a walk-off field goal or something. So I like the 5. My dog, who I believe this is my first time choosing them as a dog this year, is the New York Giants +6. This is also part of this is in. Yes, I trust the Giants to cover 6 points, but it's also a Derek Carr fade.
Yeah.
I think the Giants defense is playing all right. Not super well, but they're playing good enough to cover 6 points against the Saints and Derek Carr. And I think they could also win this one outright. They're fighting. They're playing like a bunch of dogs right now. I really like it. They're going to New Orleans, who is pretty inconsistent, and they don't do it for me. I've shat on Derek Carr enough on this podcast the past few weeks. Give me the Giants +6 as my favorite dog of the week.
Hell yeah, man! Look at you getting on the Giants. You had him as your favorite to lose.
Yes.
A few times earlier in the season. Good to see you come full circle. What do you got for a total?
Total this Thursday night. Some we'll put it around quotes. No-name rookie for the Chargers is going to Vegas to play another lesser-known rookie in Aiden O'Connell. Raiders are coming off a 3-0 loss. I know you said you kind of like the over, but I'm going to go with the under 34. It is still a primetime game. The primetime unders, yes, more overs have hit in the past few weeks, but under 34, I mean, I simply can't envision this game going over that many points, the total. I see like a 16-10 game maybe, man. Like,
sure.
So,
no.
Love under 34.
No, it's not something that I like enough where I'm going to bet the over on, and probably that you feel that way about the under. I probably won't bet it. So Don't hate that at all. My favorite total, Joey, I'm double dipping. I don't know if we've had this yet.
Oh.
I'm double dipping in Denver and Detroit under 47.5.
Okay.
This to me smells like a Denver-Houston matchup all over again that we saw a few weeks ago. Houston had what felt like a super high-flying offense. Denver came in on the road and just stifled them. Denver plays really good in domes. I'm just coming up with that on the spot. But
no, I believe it. I believe it.
But no, I do like Denver, and I like the under. I don't think I'm going to tease it. I don't like teasing totals, really.
I don't either.
Just because the value's all fucked up, and obviously it's super negative expected value. So, but yeah, I like the under 47.5 in that game, and I like Denver +5. So,
right.
I might put a little, maybe Denver money line in the under together.
Ooh.
Denver's around +2 bills. Interesting. That's also something when we were talking about peer-to-peer. If you're betting an underdog and you're not betting on a peer-to-peer website, like your plus sign flies high.
Yeah.
And guys are looking to eat up easy money line favorites on game day. So that should go without saying. Joey, my lead pipe lock. Let's get it out of here. I like the Giants +6.
Oh,
I like the Giants
what do you know?
I like the Giants.
You held that in, didn't you?
I did. I was holding back on that.
No shit.
I really like the Giants +6. I think I'm very much with you that New Orleans is not very good. New Orleans, I'm going to sell high on them after their game against Carolina. It's Giants +6. Definitely not going to bet the money line. I don't trust them enough to go out and get the win, but 6 is way too many points for this. The way that New Orleans plays, like New Orleans doesn't play kick your ass football like they did last week because Carolina's that bad. The Giants aren't that bad. The Giants are all of a sudden, and it's going to be very funny when the Giants are 6-8 and like suddenly going to be in the playoff picture if they do win this game. That'll be very fun for you. And
they're in the hunt graphic as of right now. So I hope we don't jinx them.
The problem is you guys need to kick it into gear. 13.25 points per game on offense. That's not going to work. But New Orleans, I think New Orleans is ready to put up a home dud. I'm just looking at their numbers right now.
You mentioned
ooh.
they are
1-5 against the spread at home. I knew there was a stat that I had.
they're 3-9-1 total against the spread.
Yeah, 1-5 against the spread at home. So, yeah, that's my lead pipe lock. Who is your lead pipe lock?
I love that, by the way. I hope we don't chase that. Knock on wood.
Yes.
My lead pipe is Chiefs first half minus 5.5. Yes, Pats are coming off a cute little win against the Steelers, but the Chiefs are pissed off after their home loss against the Bills. They're going to play a much easier opponent in Foxborough than the Patriots. I think the Chiefs defense shows up. I think an angry Mahomes fucking slings it, and they come out hot. So that's why I like first half minus 5.5.
Yeah, I like that. That bet's cheeky as fuck. I'm a huge fan of that. That's gonna be a bet because it's not gonna get outside of 6. Could get outside of 6. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. If it does move to 6, I'll probably pull the trigger on it because I'm very much with you. I think you could take a first quarter line. Probably not even out yet. But a first quarter line.
I'm really look at the quarter lines.
If it's 3.5, I wouldn't take it on the first quarter line. But if it's sitting at 2.5 or 3, I think you're right. I think KC comes out, tries to smoke them out the gates. So, all right, man. Well, running through it again. Favorites. Joey's got Atlanta -3. I've got the Rams -6.5. Our dogs. I've got Denver +5. He's got his Giants +6. Favorite totals. He's looking at Thursday night under 34 in Vegas. I've got Denver, Detroit under 47.5. And our lead pipe locks. I'm rolling with his Giants +6. Joey's got a cheeky little bet of Chiefs first half -5.5. That was fun. That worked out well. I'm
great.
excited. This is a really fun weekend. I
like this.
Very excited to talk
like the
football.
Saturday games too.
Yeah, this is nice having a full slate of NFL games. I do, after getting my ass kicked last week, I do feel like I'm going to have a good week this weekend. I don't think I put that, very dangerous better right now. So, anything else you want to get in there before we dip out of here?
Lock Talk, download the app for free. Apple App Store, Google Play Store. We got some blogs out and about. We got some good people throwing out some good picks. There's a lot of good people out there, I will say, throwing out good picks, and that's not just with football.
We got EPL, the
NHL,
guys,
EPL, NBA, college basketball. It's great. It's a lovely time of year. So we have this beautiful Christmassy graphic too, and we got a fun week and fun weekend ahead of us. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks. Yesterday we were 2 weeks from Christmas. Crazy.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice that.
I know. Crazy. All right, Joey. Well, thank you much.
Man.
Talk to you later.
Always a pleasure.
And
best of luck with your bounce back week.
I love our card this week.
It's great.
Just I've got it written down side by side, and it just looks really good to me. So
I love it.
Vibes are high. Boys are gonna get one this week.
Let's do it.
Later.
All right.